John Wayne's darkest secrets were kept in a Newport Beach home for many years. His house was locked up right away after he died in 1979. For more than 30 years, every picture, letter, and personal item was put away. When they finally opened the doors in 2011, what they saw inside shocked everyone. This is the true story of what happened to the Duke's money, from movie props that broke records to a shocking will that split his family up. John Wayne was born in Winterset, Iowa, on May 26, 1907. His full name was Marion Robert Morrison. He was 13 pounds when he was born, which was so strange that the local paper wrote about it. He seemed meant to be bigger than life from the start. He almost died when he fell into an icy creek when he was only 3 years old. His strength was shown when a stranger walking by saved him. That was the kind of strength he would always have. Early on, he changed his name. They chose the name Robert for their second son when they had him. Marion's given name was changed to Mitchell. This change may not seem very important, but it was a sign of bigger changes to come. Because his dad's business failed in 1914, the family moved to Glendale, California. Marion was known as Duke in Glendale because of his Airedale Terrier, who was also named Duke. Because they were always together, firemen in the area started calling them Big Duke and Little Duke. The name stuck because Marion liked it. Marion loved football as a child. He was able to go to the University of Southern California on a sports scholarship in 1925. He was a member of the Sigma Chi Club and studied to be a lawyer. But his dreams of playing football were dashed when he hurt his shoulder body surfing. It was terrible to lose the grant. He thought that his plans were over, but this accident led him to the road that made him famous. Marion got a job at Fox Studios in 1927 after his football career was over. He was a prop man and made $35 a week. Not very exciting, but it got him a foot in the door. In the 1926 movie Brown of Harvard, he played football, but wasn't recognized as an actor. That was his first time on screen. He became friends with director John Ford during this time. Ford liked him and told him what to do. He even suggested that he change his name to something stronger. After giving it some thought, they picked John Wayne, whose name would become famous. Wayne had a hard start as an actor. He was in more than 80 low-budget westerns between 1930 and 1939. Sometimes the whole movie was shot in just 2 days. He barely had enough money to live on, and an often only one meal a day hot plate of beans from a can. By 1938, he was so down on himself because he wasn't having any luck that he thought about giving up acting for good. It was all different when Stagecoach came out in 1939. The movie was huge, but it wasn't easy to find Wayne to play the lead role. The company wanted a famous actor like Gary Cooper, but John Ford insisted on getting Wayne. They even said they would quit the project if they didn't agree. Wayne played the Ringo Kid in the movie. The Ringo Kid was a bad guy with a strong sense of right and wrong. The scene where the camera zoomed in on his face while he held a gun became famous. Wayne was so scared that it took 27 tries to get it right, even though it was short. Stagecoach was a big hit. It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards and won 2. The way Wayne performed made him a star right away. He was paid only $3,700, which is a lot less than big-name stars, even though the movie did well. It did change his life, though. After that, everyone thought Wayne was the best Western hero ever. He turned down parts in films like High Noon and The Maltese Falcon because he didn't want to change how people saw him. Because of this choice, he became a symbol of toughness and manhood in America. John Wayne and John Ford made 14 films together that changed Hollywood for more than 50 years. Ford hired Wayne as an extra in a movie called Mother McCree in 1928, which was the start of their union. But Stagecoach in 1939 was the real start of their renown. Wayne became famous after this movie. They had a tough time getting along at work. Ford was hard on players, and Wayne was often the one who got in trouble. In 1956, Ford made Wayne do a simple scene where he picked up a gun 17 times in front of everyone on the set of The Searchers. It was embarrassing for him. Wayne never said anything bad, though. He thought that Ford's tough style helped him do his best work. The Searchers wasn't even nominated for an Oscar when it came out, but now it's seen as one of the best films ever. Donovan's Reef, their last movie together, almost didn't happen in 1963. Wayne wasn't sure if he should play the part because he thought he was too old. Aside from being sick, Ford was also an alcoholic, but Wayne persuaded him to direct. The movie was filmed in Hawaii, but it was too hot to stand. It gets as hot as 100 degrees Fahrenheit at times. At one point, Ford got shingles so bad that he had to direct some shots while lying on a stretcher. Even with these problems, the movie was finished and did pretty well. This movie, which was less serious than their westerns, was more of a comedy. It showed that they could still work in different ways, even when they were nearing the end of their careers. The movie Sands of Iwo Jima, which came out in 1949, got Wayne his first Oscar nod. A tough Marine named Sergeant John Stryker was played by him. Wayne didn't want the part at first because he thought it was too much like other roles he had played. In order to get Wayne to agree, Herbert Yates, president of Republic Pictures, had to personally give him $250,000 and a cut of the profits, which was a huge amount of money at the time. It was hard to make the movie. Alan Dewan wanted the fighting scenes to look and feel real. That's why they used real flamethrowers and bombs. In one blast, this hurt people on the set and knocked Wayne out for 30 minutes. The movie wasn't made for 2 days. Thanks to the US, the movie also had real footage from the Battle of Iwo Jima. The Marine Corps. They let the directors use rare combat footage that blended so well with the fake scenes that a lot of people thought the whole thing was real. The original flag from the fight was used to raise the flag on Mount Suribachi in a famous scene. 3 of the Marines who were still alive when they raised that flag were even in the movie. Even though the movie was a hit and Wayne gave a great performance, Broderick Crawford won the Oscar for All the King's Men. Wayne had turned down the lead part in that movie because he thought it wasn't American, which is funny. He was sad about losing, and it would be another 11 years before he was named again. In 1960, Wayne's dream movie, The Alamo, was one of the most dangerous movies he ever made. He had been wanting to make the movie for more than 15 years and had to borrow money to pay for it by mortgaging his house, cars, and even his boat. At the time, $12 million was a huge amount of money for a movie. Wayne demanded that a full-size copy of The Alamo be built in Texas. It took 2 years and more than 1.5 million adobe bricks to finish. Down to the smallest details like nails from the 1830s, everything was true to history. People came to see the set, and it stayed open until 2009. It took a huge amount of work to film The Alamo. It rained every day for 79 days and got as hot as 110 degrees Fahrenheit. They used over 7,000 extras and 1,500 horses. Some things went wrong, too. With 26 stitches, an extra was hurt with a sword in one scene. Wayne wouldn't cut costs, no matter how hard it was. When a movie came out, there was a big party with fireworks and a parade. The movie got 7 Oscar nods, but didn't win any. Critics were mixed, and it didn't make enough money at the box office to cover its huge costs. Wayne was very upset that he wasn't even nominated for Best Director. Still, the movie changed the way people remember the story of the Alamo for a long time. Wayne finally won an Oscar for True Grit in 1970. He played a one-eyed U.S. soldier named Rooster Cogburn. Marshall. Wayne almost didn't take the part because he thought he was too old and was still healing from surgery for lung cancer. But after reading the book, he understood that it might be the part he plays for the rest of his life. It wasn't easy to film. It took place in Colorado, which was very cold and high up, which made Wayne's health worse. In between scenes, he had to use a gas tank. At a dangerous time, his horse stumbled on a steep hill and almost knocked him off. It hurt Wayne's shoulder, but he kept going. Wayne put on weight and wore an eye patch that made it hard for him to see to play Rooster Cogburn. He had to remember the sets so that he wouldn't trip over them. People loved his show because it was different from anything he'd done before. The movie made over $31 million and was one of his biggest hits ever. As Wayne received his award at the Oscars, he said, "If I'd known this 35 years ago, I'd have put that patch on." He was sick that night, but he wouldn't miss the event. Some people believe Wayne's Oscar was more for his long career than for the part itself. Later, Wayne himself said it felt like a career award. Still, Rooster Cogburn became one of his most famous roles, and the movie's success sealed his status as one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. There were ups and downs in John Wayne's love life. He was married 3 times in almost 50 years. Josephine Saenz was his first wife. They got married in 1933. Wayne's career was just getting going at that point. They had 4 kids together, but Wayne spent a lot of time away from home because he was becoming more famous. When he began an affair with actress Marlene Dietrich in 1938, things got even worse. Wayne worked hard to fix his marriage. In 1943, he took Josephine to Mexico to spend time with him. It didn't work, though. In the end, they got a divorce in 1945. When he married Esperanza Bauer for the second time in 1946, things went badly. Esperanza, a Mexican actor who used to work, was very envious. As they worked together on Angel and the Bad Man in 1947, she thought Wayne was seeing Gail Russell, one of his co-stars. One night, Wayne coming home late from a party made her so angry that she lost it. She got so drunk and mad at him that she pulled out a gun and tried to shoot him as he walked in the door. No one got hurt, thank goodness. After that, though, their marriage didn't last long. In 1954, they got a divorce. Wayne married Pilar Pallet for the 3rd time in 1954. They were married until he died in 1979. For a while, things seemed better because they had 3 kids together. But Wayne and Pilar broke up in 1973. Wayne then moved in with his maid. Hi, Pat and Stacy. Wayne and Pilar never really got divorced, even though they lived apart. It was known in Hollywood that Wayne was seeing Marlene Dietrich. It began in 1938 while Seven Sinners was being filmed and went on for almost 10 years. Even though Wayne was married to Josephine at the time, he went to Dietrich's house at night. Both of them cared deeply about each other. In the letters they sent each other, they were honest about how they felt. In fact, Dietrich used her power to help Wayne's success. She worked hard to get him major parts in films like The Spoilers in Pittsburgh in 1942. Even though they broke up in 1947, they stayed close friends for the rest of their lives. She called Wayne the love of her life a lot. Maureen O'Hara was one of Wayne's most talked about friends. Beginning with Rio Grande in 1950, they were in 5 films together. In 1952, The Quiet Man was their most well-known movie. A lot of fans thought they were a real couple because of how well they got along. O'Hara even made a joke about an old woman who saw her and thought she was Wayne's wife. The kids of Wayne called her Annie Maureen, as she was very close to the family. A few years later, O'Hara's grandson said that Wayne and O'Hara did date for a short time, but that it wouldn't have worked out because they were both too selfish. Still, O'Hara was there for Wayne until the end. He had cancer and was dying, so she helped him get a medal from Congress to honor his life. Wayne found peace with his secretary, Pat Stacey, in his last years. Pat became his partner and caretaker after he and Pilar broke up. Even though she was 34 years younger than Wayne, they were very close. He had cancer, and Pat took care of his life and made sure he had help while he was getting treatment. From 1973 until Wayne's death in 1979, they lived together. Pat wrote a book called Duke, a love story in 1983 after he died. Fans rarely saw a softer, more sensitive side of that was shown in the book. It talked about their time together. Pat never got married and lived her whole life remembering Wayne. In 1995, she died. John Wayne was 57 years old when he was told he had lung cancer in 1964. It shocked me, but it wasn't a surprise. Wayne had smoked a lot. For years, they smoked up to 6 packs of cigarettes every day. So that he could live, the doctors took out his left lung and 2 ribs. People who had the surgery had a 50% chance of living. Wayne got through it, though, and hasn't had cancer in 5 years. Wayne didn't hide the fact that he was sick like most people would have. He chose to tell everyone. His friends and family told him that this could hurt his future. Wayne didn't care, though. He wanted to help people, so he told them to get checked for cancer. He even made up a funny name for cancer to make it sound less scary, the Big C. He was in a TV ad for the American Cancer Society in 1965, a year after his surgery. He asked people to fund research into cancer and be serious about it. But his cancer wasn't gone yet. Wayne learned that he had stomach cancer in 1979. They tried a new vaccine, but it wasn't enough. The more his health got worse, the more Wayne spoke out. He left texts from his hospital bed asking for more money for cancer research. He told people not long before he died, "They might find a cure for cancer without your help, but I wouldn't bet my life on it." Wayne's last movie was 1970's success, The Shouldest. Wayne felt like it was a lot like his own life. It was about an old gunfighter who was dying of cancer. He was in bad health and 68 years old when he shot it. He needed a lot of air between scenes, but he was set on doing his own moves. He had to fall several times on a hard floor in one scene. He never said anything bad. The movie did really well, and many thought it was Wayne's way of saying goodbye. He changed the finish too to make it fit his strong image. The main character of the story was shot in the back. Wayne said, "No, I've never shot a man in the back in a movie. Change it." The movie made $13.4 million, and Wayne got to say goodbye in a part that reflected how brave he was. Wayne passed away on June 11th, 1979. He was 72 years old. After a long battle with stomach cancer, he died at UCLA Medical Center. His death was a big deal in Hollywood and among his fans. Obama said he was greater than life and a real American hero. A lot of his friends showed up outside of his hospital and home with flowers, notes, and even cowboy hats. People lit candles at his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame to remember him. Wayne's funeral was private, but later there was a ceremony for everyone to watch so that fans could say goodbye. Millions of people watched it on TV. Even though he never served in the service, the U.S. Naval Academy made him an honorary member of their class. Of 1979, people loved him so much that Orange County Airport was changed its name to John Wayne Airport after he died. Wayne's family started the John Wayne Cancer Foundation in 1985 to remember him and carry on his fight against cancer. They wanted his name to always be linked to bravery and strength. The foundation gave money to help start the John Wayne Cancer Institute, which is now one of the best places to study cancer. It led to new treatments, like an early detection method for cancer that has saved many lives. John Wayne's wealth was worth $6.85 million when he died in 1979, which is about $25 million today. His fame and success made this seem like a small thing. People thought he had a lot more money because he was one of the best paid stars of his time. Wayne may have spent a lot of money or given a lot of it away during his life. Not all of his property was part of the estate either. For instance, not long before he died, he sold his favorite yacht, Wild Goose, for $750,000. He spent a lot of time on this boat, which used to be a minesweeper in World War II. Its sale makes it harder to figure out how much he really left behind. Wayne had a lot of properties, but his home in Newport Beach was one of his most famous ones. He bought it in 1965 and lived there until he died in 1979. The house was on the water and faced Balboa Island. From the street, it looked simple, but on the inside, it was grand and fancy, just like Wayne. The house was sold for $5.5 million in 1980 after he died. A huge cost for the time. Before he moved to Newport Beach, Wayne had a ranch in Encino that was 5 acres in size. 58 years old, he left the ranch for a calmer life by the water. He also owned homes in Arizona and Washington, which shows that he liked different landscapes and was good at buying homes. Once, Wayne joked that moving to Newport Beach years earlier had been smart, because by then, I sure as hell couldn't afford it. When Wayne's will was revealed after his death in 1979, it caused a lot of drama. The biggest shock was that he left nothing to his third wife, Pilar Paletti. They had been married for over 20 years, but had separated in 1973, 6 years before his death. Even though they didn't divorce, Wayne left most of his estate to his 7 children from his first 2 marriages. This decision led to speculation about their relationship and why Paulette wasn't included. Years later, the drama continued. In 2010, Wayne's daughter, Isa, sued her brother, Ethan, and John Wayne Enterprises, arguing over her share in the company. The will also gave Wayne's children personal items and memorabilia, but these became points of tension, too. Disagreements over these keepsakes made the family disputes even worse, showing how dividing his assets created lasting problems. In 2011, something amazing happened for John Wayne fans. Over 700 items from his life and career were put up for auction. This big event happened on October 6th to 7th at the Hyatt Century Plaza in Los Angeles. Fans and collectors got a chance to own pieces of his personal life and movie career. Many of these items have been locked away since Wayne passed in 1979. His house was sealed that day, and all his belongings were sent to storage. It was like opening a time capsule after more than 30 years. The auction included all kinds of things. There were costumes, props, awards, and even furniture from his home. Some items were especially unique. For example, his scripts showed how he worked on his movies. The script for The Horse Soldiers had folded pages to mark finished scenes. Other scripts, like Wednesday Morning, were kept neat and perfect, showing how organized he was. Then there were personal items like books, clothing, and his last driver's license. Even a collection of his colorful neckerchiefs, which he loved to wear, sold for $10,755. Some items broke records. His Green Beret from the Green Berets, 1968, sold for $179,250, setting a record for a costume hat. People loved it because it symbolized one of his most famous movies. Another big seller was his cowboy hat, worn in movies like Big Jake and the Cowboys. It sold for $119,500. Wayne's Golden Globe for his role in True Grit also got a lot of attention and sold for $143,400. This award was special because it was tied to his only Oscar-winning role. Even small, everyday things sold for huge amounts. His last driver's license, something so ordinary, sold for $89,625. That set in a record for a driver's license. His eye patch from True Grit also sold for $47,800. Pieces of clothing like pants from the Alamo and a shirt worn in several movies sold for thousands of dollars. These items let fans feel connected to him in a very real way. The auction didn't just show his movie career, it also revealed who he was as a person. One special item was a gold-plated Winchester rifle he gave to a friend, Bob Shelton. It sold for $13,315 and showed Wayne's generous side. His books gave a peek into what he liked to read, topics like history and military strategy. One unexpected item was his collection of seashells, which showed a softer side of him that people didn't often see. One of the most valuable pieces was a portrait of Wayne by the artist John Decker. It sold for $71,700. Wayne had kept this painting in his home, which showed how much it meant to him. The auction also included family photos, letters, and even his home furniture. These things gave fans a closer look at his private life. They showed that beyond being a Hollywood star, John Wayne was also a father, a friend, and someone with deep connections to his family and the people he cared about. In 1971, John Wayne gave an interview to Playboy magazine that caused a lot of anger, and people are still talking about it today. He made some shocking statements that showed his controversial views. The most talked about comment was when he said, "I believe in white supremacy until the blacks are educated to a point of responsibility." He was 63 years old and very famous at the time. But this wasn't a one-time thing. He had said things like this before. In the same interview, he also talked about Native Americans, saying he didn't think it was wrong to take their land, calling it a matter of survival. He even criticized the movie Midnight Cowboy, calling it perverted and using a homophobic slur. Years later, in February 2019, this interview came back into focus when someone shared parts of it on Twitter. A screenwriter called Wayne a terrible person, and the tweet went viral. Suddenly, people were debating his legacy all over again. Some wanted him canceled, while others argued about whether his words should define how we remember him. His comments, even after so many years, sparked big conversations about the responsibility of famous people and how their words can hurt. This controversy didn't just stay on social media. It also brought attention to things named after him, like John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California. The airport got its name in 1979 after Wayne passed away, but by 2020, people were calling for it to be renamed. This happened during the nationwide protests after George Floyd's murder. On June 26, 2020, the local Democratic Party officially asked for the airport's name to change, saying Wayne's statements didn't match Orange County's values of diversity and inclusion. Orange County used to be a very conservative area, but it's changed a lot. It's become more diverse and politically competitive, with Democrats winning all its congressional seats in 2018. Some people felt keeping Wayne's name on the airport sent the wrong message to minority communities. Others, like Wayne's son, Ethan, defended him. Ethan said his father wasn't racist and accused people of unfairly attacking his legacy. As of 2025, the airport still has Wayne's name, but the debate continues, showing how hard it is to deal with the legacies of controversial figures. The controversy also affected the University of Southern California, USC, where Wayne had once studied. In July 2020, the university decided to remove an exhibit about him from its School of Cinematic Arts. This exhibit had been there since 2012, showing movie posters and personal items to honor him as one of their famous alumni. But students and alumni began protesting in late 2019, saying Wayne's racist comments made the exhibit unwelcoming, especially for students of color. After months of discussions, the university decided to take it down, saying they wanted to promote anti-racism and make the school more inclusive. Some people supported the decision, while others said it was wrong to erase history. All of this has sparked a bigger question. Can you separate someone's art from their personal beliefs? Many fans argue that Wayne's movies, like The Searchers and Rio Bravo, are too important to ignore. They think you can still enjoy his work while condemning his views, but critics say his racist comments and the stereotypes in his films make it impossible